welcome you to Dallas, Texas, and Thunder playoff postgame. Saying hello again to those watching on the Thunder app, Griffin Stations, KSBI and OKC, KQCW in Tulsa, and the Valley Sports app. Game 4 of the Western Conference semifinals between the Thunder and the Mavericks officially in the books, with OKC winning 100-96. The series now tied 2-2, and what a game we had here inside of American Airlines Center. I just want to take a moment. We should all take a collective deep breath after that, because there were 2 lead changes in this game. The first one took place about a minute into the first quarter, and the second one, the Thunder regaining the lead with about 3 minutes left to go in the fourth.
I think my Apple Watch wants me to go to the hospital right now.
to take a nap at least, yeah.
I mean, it's man, Paris, that was a playoff game in every sense of the word. And look, I've seen a lot of Thunder playoff games, and that might be the toughest, guttiest, most resilient-minded win I think I've ever seen from this organization. That was a game where they just could not really get it going. You go back to the first half and just the three-point shooting 30% from the floor for basically the first 3 quarters of the game. And to me, look, the close of the game, and we're going to get into a lot of this, the big 3 from Lou in the corner, the other 3 from Chet Holmgren. But I think some of the most impressive minutes of the game was in that third quarter and that second quarter, where they were just stuck, and they just never let Dallas get a bigger lead than 10 or 11. They just hung around in that game, found ways to just kind of keep the scoreboard moving. They got to the free throw line, only missed 1 free throw in this game, and just was able to come up with critical stops. Those like mid-game minutes, Paris, I think that's really what won the Thunder this game.
Yeah, let's rewind a little bit, because OKC got off to a really slow start offensively, probably the slowest start we've seen in terms of this postseason. 0 for 6 from the three-point line in that first quarter. Not really able to gain much traction from behind the line at all tonight, just making 7 three-pointers in this game. But as you mentioned, Royce, the defensive effort by OKC to keep this a very low-scoring game, a very manageable game, so that by the time that third quarter came around, the Thunder held Dallas to just 15 points in the third quarter, and that's when OKC's offense just started to find a little bit of rhythm.
Yeah, you kept just looking at the scoreboard and just going, how are they only down 8 right now? I mean, it feels like 18 or 28, and then you look up and it would be down to 5, and then it got down to 4, and then it got down. I mean, they just kind of kept just hanging in there. They'd get a stop and they'd make a bucket. They were able to execute at the times that they needed to execute, and just everybody contributed all across the board, and just in one way or the other, little spurts, different units, different rotations coming in and making a big impact in the game. But again, just the big shot making down the stretch. And look, we've talked about this all season long, Paris, of how this team doesn't win one way, and how important that was. And it felt like a lot of times we were setting it up for a night like this in the playoffs, where you have to understand that in the postseason, where it's a grind and a team is just geared in on every set you're going to run, that you can't just say, well, we're just going to shoot the lights out in that one. The Thunder were the number 1 three-point percentage team in the entire NBA. They were 7 of 27 from the three-point line, and that was finishing hot, by the way, from 3. But they've just found other ways to do it. This is not a one-trick pony. This team has 6 or 7 pitches that they can throw in, and on this night, it was the tough pitch. They just gutted it out.
Just finding different ways to win. Let's talk about that final fourth quarter stretch by the Thunder, because, boy, was it dramatic. Finally, you had the 3 starting to fall for OKC. Dort hits a 3. You had a 3 from Chet Holmgren to give the Thunder the lead. What were you seeing in those final minutes there?
I mean, fearlessness, really. I mean, that's what I really saw from Dort, who missed a bunch of threes himself, and then you get that big corner 3 that he's able to knock down over there. Chet Holmgren, who's a rookie, knocking down another 3 in the corner. I mean, that is a big pressure thing. That was an open one, too. It's one of those, Paris, where obviously you want an open shot, but it's like one where you almost have a chance to kind of assess, like, oh, man, I bet Chet even realized himself, this is a big shot right here. Those are almost sometimes harder to make in those types of situations. And then, by the way, Chet stepping to the line and knocking down 2 huge free throws. Thunder come up with stops when they had to get them. And then SGA was huge, just kind of bridging the gap. When this team was stuck, it was really SGA that was able to just get to his mid-range spots and really carry the load offensively. Just what a performance across the board from this team.
These guys just rising to the occasion with the game on the line. And now the series all tied up 2-2. All right, let's run it back. Let's hear from our very own Nick Gallo, who caught up with some of our players post-game.
Guys, congrats on the win. You did it on defense. Lou, tell me what it took. Lou, what did it take to get this one done?
It took a lot, the whole team. It wasn't just me. We had to do it through the whole game, and, the whole team stepped up.
Shea, you guys clinched it. at the free throw line and your offense, you really got things going late. Tell me about what it took on the offensive end to get the buckets you needed.
Yeah, we just played aggressive, played within our strengths and our comfort zone. Said it so many times, we all have a role on the team. We all have something we like to get to. And all we can do is get to it and trust our work, and that's what we did, and we pulled it out.
Chet, you talked about the focus mindset. What did it take to withstand so many runs and being down for so long in this game?
Took trust in each other. We've done it all year. We're not going to stop doing it when we see adversity. We've done it when we see, and the same thing tonight, we were able to pull it out.
Congrats on winning this game and tying up the series. Thanks, guys.
Yes, sir.
Shout out Queso, 2 big shots.
We got a couple extra barks there at the end, as per usual, all the dogs showing up here tonight. And it took a really determined effort, and I love what Shea and Chet mentioned there, the trust. The trust they have in the game plan. That is so important, especially in the playoffs with the game on the line. Speaking of Coach Dagnall, let's send it over to the press room now.
Turn things around. What did you notice from your team in terms of the patience and deliberation they showed?
Yeah, I mean, there's nothing comfortable about playoff games. High stakes games, and there was a lot of game pressure on us. I thought our ability to just endure, their early punches, and just not being able to get back in the game for a long time. Our ability to endure that was big time. We held them to 15 points in the third in a quarter where we had 22 points, and we were still laboring offensively. And then in the fourth, the offense turned for us. But to be able to defend like that, in the third, to just keep, to win the quarter by 7 in a quarter where you have 22, it's just great endurance by the team.
In terms of the execution of the defense, what maybe jumped out to you about the way that you guys were able to dig in and get stops in the second half?
We executed well. We've executed well most of the series, to be honest with you, in the half court. But you said dig in, we dug in. That was, I thought, what the game was. We just were scrappy, and fought like crazy on that end of the floor. The execution was good, but the effort, physicality, all that was better.
What did you see from Shea in terms of the grip he sort of had on the game until the offense sort of came around?
Yeah, I mean, he didn't, he missed some chippies, stuff that he normally makes in the flow of the game. And just like our team, he endured. He obviously, took that thing by the horns there, late. But the other thing is, he had an unbelievable blend and really found his teammates on a lot of plays and continued to find them, the shot Chet hit, the shot Lou hit, that he sprayed to them. That's him passing the ball at a critical time, down 2-1 in the fourth quarter when the team is shooting 20-something% from three. That just is unbelievable trust and confidence for him to rise to that in that moment. And for a young, ambitious star player, I was blown away by those plays. Considering what
Lou and J-Dub's nights looked like to that point, maybe midway through the fourth, just what did you make of the plays they made down the stretch?
Huge, and that's where the trust comes in. That's where this team has an uncommon, ability to stay together. Tonight we really had to pull together. That was a really, really difficult game, and it went, it did not go our way for the majority of the game. And like I said, the ability to kind of endure when the wind is in your face, and just keep the game in striking distance and letting it turn, was just, incredible maturity, I thought.
Did you think that overall you won the battle? You made the free throws late with a rookie up there doing it, but also just the overall discipline. Did you feel that was more there tonight, especially late?
I thought our situational basketball down the stretch was great. I thought the guys executed like crazy, in the last minute and a half of the game. That's critical when you have a lead like that. We get a shot every time down. Really, really good.
Why do you think you guys have been so successful limiting the scoring from their stars, from Luke and Kyrie, really all series, but especially tonight?
Yeah, I mean, and last game for those guys to have 44 in the game combined, that's really hard to do with their potency. I just think you just got to be able to take punches against them. They're great players. They're incredibly talented. They have great confidence, and you just got to be able to kind of take hits, when they make tough ones and when they make great plays, And that's what I thought we did tonight. And we've done that all series. I think, that's kind of been stable throughout the series. And tonight we found some stuff offensively. I thought we generated better shots, especially in the fourth quarter. But we have to keep that up, obviously, to continue to compete in the series.
Following up on Joel's last question, guys didn't really have it offensively tonight, but found other ways to be effective. I mean, would you think about the way that they found those ways to be effective in this high-pressure situation?
Yeah, I mean, to me, that's the mark of a winning player is, willingness to do the invisible things and willingness to commit to those things even when, the game's not going your way. And like Jalen Williams, goes in there, Jay Will, and gives us huge minutes in the fourth quarter. Gets a couple offensive rebounds. He had the play that we got the challenge on. But he missed layups. He, gave up an offensive. It's like he had to take his punches, and he just keeps coming. And it's just incredible fortitude by the players.
Navarro gets slimmer and slimmer as the game goes along. Only 8 turnovers tonight. Tied him for offensive rebound. Didn't let them go crazy on the offensive glass. I mean, just seemed like you guys were big in those little things all night. What did you think about that?
We were even on the glass, even in second chance. So we split that, and the turnovers were great. I thought, despite the fact that it was a difficult shooting night, and despite they're playing great defense, Dallas, right now. And despite the fact that they're playing great D, we missed, a couple opportunities when we did get our cracks. For us to kind of win that possession battle was huge tonight.
You mentioned you guys executing down the stretch. It looked like there was some confusion after you fouled on kind of the up 3, but I assume that was the strategy. What kind of happened in that?
The plan was to foul up 3. We fouled up 3. Kaysen was trying to load to Irving, and Irving got kind of stuck. So I think he didn't want to bail him out. Dub didn't want to bail him out, and everybody was on the same page in terms of what the strategy was. And then I think the way that he came over half court, picked the ball up, so they kind of bailed on it. And then Shea made a heads up play there to go get Washington.
Shea hit 14 twos tonight, I think not at the rim. How much of it was about his just kind of times difficult shot making down the stretch, and how much did the offensive kind of script from you guys change in the fourth?
Well, the one he threw over the backboard was a difficult shot, that's for sure. So we'll throw that one aside. I thought he had, like I said, a good blend. He was on the he was really on the gas. They're selling out at the rim, and when you shoot it poorly, it only they're only going to get more aggressive, and that's where he found his spots. He was able to get separation. I thought he got some clean looks that he can make. I actually think he missed some clean looks that he got earlier in the game, but that's where they're loaded up. He's got it cooking. It's a close game. We're down 2-1, and he's just spraying the ball over the floor. Even before we started making them. I thought that was big time performance by him. Not just the scoring. I've seen him score like that before, but just the trust in that moment. For a guy like him. Oof.
He's the kind of guy that on the box score, when you watch him this year, doesn't pop off the page, but if you watch the game, sometimes most impactful player on the floor when he's out there. And tonight's game specifically did a lot of things. What impressed you most from him?
Just how easy he is to trust as a 20-year-old player or whatever in that game. He's guarding Irving, he's guarding Doncic, he's banging threes, he's where he's supposed to be. He's just doing exactly what we're trying to accomplish in the game plan and the system on both ends of the floor. And then, from a competitive standpoint, he's a big-time competitor, even at a young age.
You mentioned your team's uncommon ability to stay together. I know you've seen this all season long, but as a coach, when you're seeing that, does it refresh or rejuvenate your passion for coaching?
I'll just, this team is a pleasure to coach. That's all I'll say. I mean, they're just a pleasure to coach. Many times over the course of time, I've been in awe of our team, and tonight was one of those nights.
With Garrett in the first half there, what were you hoping to see from him, and did he provide it for you guys?
I was hoping to see exactly what I saw. Great energy. That was a fight. That game was a brawl, and he's a brawler. So I thought he had his hands on balls in the first half, offensive rebounds that we maybe could have gotten that we didn't, but he just elevated the level of competitiveness, physicality. I give him a lot of credit. He's been, seldom used even in our last series, and his readiness to go in there and be completely in character, despite the fact that we haven't gotten to him very much, was very impressive to me.
You mentioned Shea and trust a ton just now. Just how have you seen him grapple with the concept of trust of someone, as talented as he is and kind of with that level of weight he has on him in a series like this?
I don't think he grapples with it. His instinct is to be a member of the team. But I think when you're that talented, not that I am, so I can't speak from experience, but when you're that talented, the balance of your own aggression and your own confidence and the trust, the functionality, the early plays to your teammates is very difficult to strike. That's just hard to strike. And that's why players usually don't strike that very early in their careers. If you look at any great scorer, usually they develop that. Irving, I think, is a great example that's developed that over time. He has a great blend, of his offense and his teammates' offense, and his team plays better because of that. And he's obviously a veteran player that's got a lot of experience. Shea's on that path, but he's on an accelerated path there. He's still a very young player for somebody as accomplished as he is, and that's why it's so impressive to me.
You guys went 23 and 24 on free throws. How big a story is that to you, especially considering I think they missed 11?
Yeah, it's huge. Tonight we needed everything. We needed the stops, we needed the free throws, we needed the offensive rebounds. I mean, you score 100 points and win. We were scraping for every advantage we could get, and we did.
Mark, I know you're a sophisticated basketball mind, but do you ever leave a game thinking, how the heck did we win that?
No. Not with this team. Not with this team. These guys they've proven time and again that they can rise to competitive challenges. And they've proven time again that, even when we don't rise to a win, they rise to it and compete together and throw their best punch even in losses. I've felt this way after losses before. And so, I'm at the point where I'm not surprised by, our team now. Our challenge is, we're in a series right now. It's a 3-game series. We go back home.
You guys have, I think, dug pretty big holes to start the game. I think the last 3. Obviously, you changed the lineup for a second time in the series to start the second half. Do you have to look at that potentially?
I look at everything all the time, but at the end of the day, I'm making the decisions. I made every decision I could to win Game 4 tonight. I'm going to make every decision I can to win Game 5. That's playoffs. We're just doing everything we can. We're scraping for everything to try to get every advantage.
Mark, when it comes to clutch shot making, a lot of people think of it just like when the clock's going down, wanting to zero at the buzzer. But Shea continuously just kept you guys within arm's reach of a lead so you guys could get to that final push. Can you just talk about the importance of that?
Huge. Like I said, we needed everything tonight. We needed the stops, we needed the rebounds, we needed his. That was a tremendous individual performance from a scoring standpoint. I think that speaks for itself. I think anybody that's watching that game saw that. But that's why I'm driving to the passes and stuff, because that's the invisible value that he added to the team tonight, and the confidence that your teammates get when you're doing that time and time again, even on a bad shooting night. That's worth its weight in gold.
Going back to the question about the starts, I just wonder how much in your eyes the starts of the game. I just wonder how much in your eyes you can attribute that to the way Dallas is choosing to defend Josh.
It's a combination of things. I thought Josh was a positive tonight in the game, wasn't he? What did he have? We won the minutes when he was on the court tonight, and they're guarding him like that the entire game. So it's never one thing. It's a complex game. It's rebounding, it's defense, it's offense. That's what contributes to taking a lead. That's what contributes to a deficit. Same factors go in, but you can never put it in a vacuum.
He was +6.
Great stuff there from Thunder head coach Mark Daigneault following tonight's win against the Dallas Mavericks. It was a difficult game. That might be an oversimplification, but it really was a fist fight down the stretch of this game for the Thunder to walk away with a win. And as Coach Daigneault mentioned, we needed everything in this game. In his words, the free throws, everything down the stretch, every guy that stepped up. And one guy who Coach Daigneault talked about significantly in that post-game press conference was Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, who finished with an incredible stat line, but really it was just his endurance and what Coach Daigneault called a great blend offensively.
Yeah. I loved Anthony Slater's question where he pointed out that SGA hit 14 shots, all twos. And it was just, we've seen that kind of game from SGA where he gets to his spots and finds it. And I agree with Coach Mark there, kind of talking about it. It felt like SGA kind of found something there down the stretch in the fourth quarter. Things unlocked a little bit for him. But Coach Mark also really talked about just the trust level. And we talk about the uncommon elements of this team. And so much of that is SGA really driving that bus with his poise, his composure, but also just being able to look at his teammates and spray the ball to them in the biggest moments of the game when he's had it going and he's really kind of of shouldered the load for this team. The Thunder got to that fourth quarter because of SGA's work throughout the first 3 quarters and the way that he really held things together offensively with a lot of those big shots, Paris. But then to have that trust level to throw it over to a rookie in the corner for the biggest shot of the game. I mean, again, Coach Mark said it way better than I could, but I think he said it this way. He went, "Whew," that's that's really the best way to say it.
I mean, we talked about the fearlessness of these guys in this game. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, he's been in playoffs before. He has been in postseasons before. This is still a relatively new experience, but for Cason Wallace, for Chet Holmgren, this is all brand new to them. And for them to step up and be fearless in those moments, knock them down with confidence, that says a lot about these rookies.
Okay, so as you were saying that, you know what, it clicked back to my head of thinking of SGA as a second-year player in the bubble. He himself hit a huge corner three against the Rockets. I think it was in game 6 maybe, or was it game 5? Can't quite remember the details of it, but it was another guy showing trust in him as a young player, and now it's been reciprocated back. So that's kind of a cool thing. SGA felt that when he was a young player. He rose to the occasion and knocked down the big 3 in the corner. This time it was SGA paying it forward to somebody else, and Chet Holmgren doing it in the corner for the Thunder to pull this one out.
You know, another thing I want to talk about, Coach Dagnall brought up this word several times: endurance. And that was something that was really required in this game. And it's also required, I feel like, game to game as well. Can you explain kind of what he meant that this game required a level of endurance?
Well, I mean, obviously the physical element, I mean, it is a toll to get through these types of playoff series. But at the same time, Paris, I mean, mentally, to not just get so discouraged. It's like everybody can see this. Everybody's watched. If you're a Thunder fan, you've watched this team all season long. This doesn't look like the team that played over 82 games because the postseason is different. It is played in a different way, and you have to solve problems in a different manner. So to not get frustrated and lose your composure as the second youngest team in the NBA on the road in this environment, that type of endurance mentally, to me, is so much of it, of what this team had to go through. Also coming off the Game 3 loss where they had that one right there at their fingertips to get a good day of practice in, a good shoot-around this morning, and be ready at 0-0 to play this game tonight.
You know, Royce Young also showed some endurance tonight, keeping the heart rate that he did throughout all 48 minutes of this game. All right, stick with us here on Thunder Playoff Postgame. We've got so much coming your way after this short break. Stick with us. We'll be right back.
Education as a whole, it's not just subject to what's in the building, in the brick and mortar building. It's everybody in the community.
Fighting for our students, fighting for our teachers, and fighting for our profession.
We're molding young minds into growing the next generation, and I think that's awesome.
I wanted to be a part of the school, not only as just a teacher, but as an active leader, where many voices become one.
This is where we're supposed to pick up the new employee. Are you sure this is where he lives? That's what it says. Seems like an odd place. What is that racket? Hey, what are you doing? Get in the van. Did you shower today, Rumble? When's the last time you shaved? Airco Service is proud to be the official service company of the Thunder.
Welcome back to Thunder Playoff Postgame. We are coming to you live from downtown Dallas and American Airlines Center, the scene where the Thunder defeated the Dallas Mavericks here in Game 4 to tie up this series in the Western Conference semifinals 2-2. And we got a lot to break down and a lot to talk about, so we're bringing in all of our friends. We're bringing in our good friend, Dean Blevins of News 9. And Dean, you've covered a lot of basketball in your time. What did you make of what you saw out here in Game 4 tonight?
Just blown away, sort of like Mark Dagnall was in the press conference just a few minutes ago. I mean, he's saying this team just sometimes blows me away. SGA spraying the ball late when the guys, no one else was really contributing. I mean, the numbers were just awful for so long. I mean, it wasn't that they couldn't get over the hump. It was that they couldn't get close enough to the hump to get over the hump. But they finally persevered and did. I thought they outcoached Dallas. I thought that you look at the challenges, they went just the opposite. It was +2 for Mark and Dallas -1. But overall, 7 turnovers and 23 of 24 free throws. It's those types of things that win big basketball games. And I said before this game, this is the biggest game that I can recall since the big games with KD.
I mean, Dean, I felt the same way of just kind of, we've both seen a lot of Thunder playoff basketball, and this is about as tough a win, tough, gutsy win that I can remember. And just thinking of that on the road in this environment, 2 rookies hitting huge shots, Chet Holmgren with the 3 in the corner that you mentioned, SGA setting up. But how about Cason Wallace in this one? He only took 2 shots, made them both. How about those big shots from a rookie?
We were all waiting for someone off the bench. Wiggins has been so good all season long, but he hasn't been there in terms of scoring through this playoff so far. And then Isaiah Joe, the most beautiful shooter we've ever seen tonight. It wasn't very pretty, but then Cason just comes in and calmly. It was like it was preseason workouts with him, just calm as he could be. And speaking of calm, how about in the end, the clutch performances? You have Chet 2 for 2, SGA 2 for 2, and Luka misses 1, and I think one of their big guys misses 1. So this will go down. Thunder need to finish off this series because this game will go down as one of the bigger games.
Oh, it is one that is going to be in our memories for a long time. Dean, thank you so much for your insight as always. Speaking of Chet Holmgren, he is now addressing the media at the podium. Let's listen in.
And good shots for us.
Chet, I watched you curse at yourself while missing shots pregame. Obviously, a few misses. What did it take to ice those free throws at the end of the game internally?
Just trusting all the work that I put in. I'm not perfect. I don't make every single shot, but I was able to put myself in a place where I needed to be to make those shots.
How much pressure was there to win this game tonight? So it wouldn't be 3-1 going back home.
I'm not going to try and downplay it at all. It's a lot of pressure to win that game. You never want to be in a 3-1 situation. It's obviously a lot better to be 2-2 going home, to play a 3-game series with home court advantage.
Most of the night, guys didn't have it offensively, but just think about the way you guys were able to find ways to be effective in this hyper situation.
Yeah, again, I feel like it comes down to who we are. We're not a team who's just going to be like, we're going to win when we make shots, and we're going to live and die with that. Even when one aspect of what we do isn't going for us on that night, we have a lot of guys who are able to do a lot of things out there on the basketball floor, and defense is one of them. I feel like we really held our hand on defense tonight, and that won us the game. We haven't been scoring 120 points a game, so being able to hold them to 100 or 96 points was enough for us to get it done tonight.
Your offense for the first 3 quarters obviously was a struggle. What kind of calming influence does it have when Shea gets cooking there in the fourth quarter?
There's some points in the game where I'm doing the same thing you guys are doing, just kind of being a fan of what he's doing, and when some of those shots go in, just kind of making a face like, that's crazy, but he's been doing it all year. I've seen him do it since I got here, and that's just who he is. A tough shot maker, but he does a lot more out there for us than just that.
And you mentioned the trust. Some of those plays, he's hitting you for a 3. He said, I think it was Cason for a 3. When he's got it rolling like that, for a star to make the right reads and the right plays, what does that say about Shea and just kind of the way this team operates?
Yeah, it says a lot about who he is, but it also says a lot about how smart of a basketball player he is. He knows when he has it going, the other team's not just going to let him just, beat them one-on-one. He's going to see a lot of different things, and he's been seeing all types of different coverages, game plans, for a long time now. He's been a really good player, and he knows all the right reads to make, and he did that tonight, and he put a lot of trust in us, and we were able to make the plays that we needed to make to come out with the win.
More specifically, what have you seen Shea's relationship with the concept of trust look like throughout this year?
Just continuing to make the right play even when he doesn't have to. He's somebody who can make something out of nothing, and he can not make the right play and still score or still make an amazing shot. And there's times when we need him to do that, and there's times where we need him to make the right play. And I feel like tonight he found a great blend of when to do both.
Chet, Mark was just in here talking about your guys' uncommon ability to stick together through hard things. I know it's not like some Disney movie where somebody gives a big speech, but who are the guys in the huddle who really helped you guys stay even keeled to make this comeback?
I don't think it's one person. I think it's everybody. Everybody's doing their part, coming ready to play, bringing the energy. Kay got out there and gave us big minutes tonight. He was everywhere. Every time I saw a missed shot, he was right there for the offensive rebound. Defensive rebound didn't matter. He was out there making tough plays, and we got a bunch of guys who've seen a lot of situations like this. Obviously, we have a bunch of guys who haven't either. A lot of us are new to this playoff stuff, but we got a very mature group that knows what it takes and is willing to do whatever.
You guys went 23 and 24 on free throws, which in a lot of ways would probably be the difference. I mean, do you feel that as the game's going on? I missed the only one. It looks like.
Free throws are big. I missed one, right?
You got the stat sheet right there.
Yeah. Free throws win games. Obviously, the game looks a lot different. We might be sitting here talking about different things happening if Luka makes that other free throw. And obviously, if I make that free throw early on in the game, it's a whole different story too. So those are extremely important. And again, we have a lot of players that are, really hard working and put a lot of emphasis on making free throws too. And we were able to convert there tonight.
You did make those two late. Were those the two biggest free throws of your life?
I'd say because of the circumstances, like this playoff game and everything, on the road too. I'd probably say yeah, but earlier in the season, I hit 3.
Warriors game?
Yeah, 3 to tie it. So I'd probably say that's bigger because we were losing the game. Today we were winning, so it was you miss them, you can still win the game. But in that situation, you had to make all 3 to go to overtime just to try and win the game. So I'd probably say that one, and this is right behind it.
Anybody else?
You mentioned the pressure of potentially going down 3-1. Is the mood for yourself and the rest of the locker room, is it more just confidence building as you guys get this win, or is it a sense of relief?
Yeah, anytime you win, it gives you confidence. But we can't let it be arrogance. We have to get back and figure out how to be better, because the Mavs are going to do the same thing. They're going to try and be better for next game, and that's what we expect from them. So we got to expect it from ourselves, too, and come back to be better. The job's not done, obviously.
Great stuff there from Chet Holmgren, the rookie, reflecting on this game, the Thunder defeating the Dallas Mavericks in Game 4. He talked about a lot of stuff. Not happy with the fact that he was the one guy who missed the free throw tonight. Still 5 of 6, which is not bad. But the rookie stepping up in crunch time and knocked down the 2 free throws in the fourth quarter when it mattered.
I mean, those were 2 massive free throws right there. And Chet was talking about earlier this season having to knock down 2 against the Golden State Warriors in a huge game. But for a rookie to step up in this environment again, Chet had 4 blocks, 18 points, and also Paris. One of the things about the way that Chet has just played all season long is that he's just so calm and confident and efficient, never really forcing the issue too much, picking his spots so well. He was efficient throughout the game tonight with his 18 points. I think he was 6 of 9 shooting.
Yep.
And again, there's at times where I think fans want to look at Chet and have him kind of take it over, but he is so confident in playing within the offensive structure and trusting that the ball is going to find him when he's open. And guess what? It's exactly what happened late in the game in a huge clutch moment with SGA finding him in the corner.
Well, I think that goes back to the endurance factor that we were talking about. It's easy for, a guy to not see the ball go through the hoop or lose a couple of games, and you get rattled and you want to fix something really fast. Maybe I need to shoot more. Maybe I need to press more. Maybe I need to drive downhill more. And it's really, these guys have shown a lot of composure and a lot of poise to just stick to the things that have made them successful throughout the 82 games of the regular season and stick to the things that have made up their identity. And Chet just taking what the game gives him throughout the game.
Yeah, again, we talked about how the playoffs feel a lot different, but at the same time, you are still playing kind of the same game you've played all season long, just in a more intense, anxiety-driven level with the circumstances raised and so much, stuff going on. But for this team to just handle it the way that they have, especially in these road games, Paris, incredibly impressive.
So impressive by this young team. All right, we're going to take a short break here, but don't go anywhere. We'll hear from some Thunder players when we come back.
Many homeowners, the unexpected cost of replacing or even repairing their air conditioner can be overwhelming. We offer multiple financing options on new equipment or even repairs. Financing solutions with no money down. Another reason to let Airco be the company you know.
Education as a whole, it's not just subject to what's in the building and the brick and mortar building. It's everybody in the community.
Fighting for our students, fighting for our teachers, and fighting for our profession.
We're molding young minds into growing the next generation, and I think that's awesome.
I wanted to be a part of the school, not only as just a teacher, but as an active leader, where many voices become one.
When the power goes out in your neighborhood, don't get left in the dark thanks to a home generator. And a new whole home generator can be installed at your home for as little as $150 a month. Let Airco prepare your home for the next power outage.
Welcome back to Thunder Playoff Postgame. You might recognize an additional face joining us here on the set. It's Lou Dort, a guy who stepped up big time in the fourth quarter of this game. But Lou, I want to backtrack. You've been with this team for a long time. Can you describe the feelings of this game? Coach Dagnall said it was a really difficult game, obviously super low scoring. What did it feel like out there on the floor tonight?
It felt good. We stuck together. We knew that the game this really started well for us. It wasn't the prettiest game, but, we just had to stay together and then do everything we had to do, to come back in the game.
Lou, I just have to say, I just admire so much the way you play. I've always admired it, just how hard you play and the competitive fire that you play with. But in an environment like this, there's so much going on, a lot of talking going on, a lot of everything going on around you, and the physicality that you play with. But you never seem to get distracted by any of it. You just kind of keep your nose down. How does that happen? How do you just kind of just stay in the game all the time?
Really, I'm just trying to block all the noises outside, and then stay within the team. It's not easy, especially when, we play against a team with a great crowd like that. We just got to stay together, which we did tonight.
You stayed together. You put yourselves in a position to take the lead. You had a big hand in that. You had a huge three-pointer here late in the fourth quarter. Can you take us through that sequence and what you remember from that play?
Yeah, I didn't really shoot the ball well, in my opinion. My teammates and the coaches was like, keep shooting it, it's going to fall. And, I just had to trust and to believe in the trust that my teammate has in me really helped me knock down that shot.
Lou, that's something Coach Mark talked about post-game, too, is especially with even Shea finding Chet in the corner there. Shea was awesome tonight, the way that he was scoring the basketball. But, what does it say about this team, whether it's the way that you got set up for that three or Shea setting up Chet, that you guys have that trust level in each other in those big spots? You're not shooting the ball well as a team, but to set each other up for those big shots.
Like you said, Shea stepped up big. He's our MVP. He did great, just fighting the open guys and making big plays. And, we knew that we had a chance to win this game, so we just had to do it together, which, it started with Shea by finding guys and Shea getting a big bucket at the end.
And I got to ask you what you saw from the rookies. Chet, you got Kaysen stepping up big time. This is their first time in this sort of environment, and they seem to be so fearless out there. What was your perspective of their night?
They stepped up big. Chet, especially Kaysen, just sometimes it's hard for him to get in a rhythm, but he was still on the court and then, knocked out some big shots. So, no, I'm really proud of him, honestly. And then it's not easy to do that in that type of environment, and especially in a game like that. So, he stepped up big.
Lou, to come in here and get this split, taking it back 2-2 to Oklahoma City. Coach Marks talked about a big challenge in a postseason series is to find ways to improve. What do you feel like you guys are taking back with you to Oklahoma City?
I'm going to say momentum. It's always feel good to win. We got to flush. We got to celebrate tonight and then flush it tomorrow and watch film and see what we can do better to execute for next game. But, we're going to be ready to go out there and compete.
Always getting back to 0-0. We've heard that all season long. Lou, congrats on the win. Thanks for taking the time.
Thank you.
All right, let's hear from some more Thunder players. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander and Jalen Williams at the podium right now. Let's listen in.
31 shots for them.
I think everybody's getting ready to rotate and kind of scramble out of situations. They put you in a lot of tough binds, and I think we've had good grit the whole time. Just kind of stick with what we want to do defensively and kind of just live with some of the results. But it's a tough task, so it takes a village to guard guys like that. It's not like one-on-one. We don't want to leave. For example, we don't want to leave Lou on an island with Luka consistently. But yeah, just kind of being ready for kind of next man up, ready to help, and kind of just be there for each other.
Shay, you guys got 65 points through 3 quarters. They're swatting all kinds of things in the paint. Going into that 4th quarter, what's kind of the feeling that you have and the approach that you have going into that quarter?
Yeah, be aggressive, but be smart. With a team like that, you have to have really smart attacks and good, we call them like rim decisions. They're so good at the rim with such good size. Even though it feels like open or a close shot, it ends up being difficult. So just finding the one more, finding the spray, finding the open shot, but also at the same time being aggressive, and if the opportunity presents itself, to let it fly.
Didn't have it going offensively tonight, but found ways to be effective. 4 steals stands out. You just talk about the mindset and the ability it takes to kind of forget about those missed shots and continue to be aggressive and find ways to be effective in this high pressure situation.
In the playoffs, I think what I'm kind of just getting comfortable with is like, you're going to have to take some tough shots, but you can't let that really like affect the rest of your game. So trying to get in there, rebound, just be ready to make plays, I got to go down on the other end regardless, make or miss and guard Kyrie, or be able to switch on to Luka, or, play small when we do. So just trying to rebound, make the right pass for our guys, and just kind of be ready to play the other part of basketball. There's like 95% of the time, you don't have the ball, so try and hold myself accountable to do other things if, offense isn't going. That's only half the game, and, like I said, trying to rebound more, play hard on defense, and, not hurt us on the defense end.
Shay, you mentioned some of that internal battle. How much is that sort of like compounded whenever you're really rolling, you're in a zone, and it gets to the end, and like a lot of guys would just play hero ball the rest of the way, but you continue to be unselfish and like hit some guys for some threes that really put the game away?
Yeah, it's a feel-out thing. Game 3, I shot like a pull-up 3. I missed, and I probably shouldn't have shot it. So it's like a make or miss thing. If it goes in, I'm a hero. So like I have moments. You just work through it, and try to find. I honestly just find myself working through it and trying to find the right balance, and try to be aggressive with it at the same time. But more often than not, trying to make the right play.
The difference between going down 3-1 and now tying the series up is obviously immense. How much are you thinking about that during the game?
Not a lot once you get into like the swing of things and what's going on. It's hard to focus on anything other than what's in front of you with each possession. But like all day, I could feel it. I know what the stakes were tonight for sure.
What was the conversation there at the end with Kaysen? Like, was there some miscommunication there? Like, what was that?
Oh yeah. When I was yelling at him. Yeah. So we were up 3 with 9 seconds left, and we were going to this is common knowledge. We were going to foul so that they go to the free throw line and don't get like a 3-point shot. And Dub was right there about to foul. Queso went to double team and left somebody open, PJ Washington, who's been shooting the piss out of it. So I was very confused. But yeah, it was just a miscommunication. I apologize to Queso after. I felt bad. He does nothing wrong all game, and the one thing he does wrong, I yell at him, but we're good.
Your coach mentioned tonight that you guys have an uncommon ability to stay together. Jacob, how has this team helped you, not even just on the court, but off the court, grow this season?
I think a lot of it trickles down from last year. We were together through a lot of the we had a more up and down, like bumpy season last year. And I think that made us really close. But I think a lot of it, is like who we bring in, who we've kind of drafted. We have a lot of good guys. And that breaks down into like people in the facility that, help us day to day. So we have a lot of good people in the organization. So, very like family-oriented environment, which is, I mean, this is my only team, but I don't think it's like that on every team. It's something that nobody on the squad takes for granted. So just kind of going through rocky parts of the season last year kind of brought us closer together, and it's a lot of stuff that we haven't seen, but we've been through a lot of it together, and I think that kind of brought us close.
This is exactly what Coach Dagnall means when he says all of these experiences stack up. There are no wasted moments on the court, no wasted experiences for this young Thunder group, and it showed up big time in Game 4 on the road against the Dallas Mavericks. The Thunder walking away with an incredible 196 victory over the Dallas Mavericks. This series is all tied up 2-2, but it's time to take this party back to Oklahoma City. Game 5 against the Mavericks. That is going to be on Wednesday at 8:30 p.m. That game's going to be on TNT. Game 6, because there will be a Game 6 now at Dallas. That game's going to be on Saturday at 7:30 on ESPN. And then Game 7, if necessary, that is going to be on Monday. But Royce, as we look ahead now to Game 5, bringing the party back to Paycom Center, what do you expect to see from the Thunder? What are you anticipating seeing out there on the floor in Paycom Center?
I mean, obviously you want to hope that the Thunder found some things in that fourth quarter, especially Paris, where things did feel like they kind of unlocked to some degree, especially for SGA. Finally got to the rim and were able to score a little bit more traditionally the way that they do in the paint. But, so often when you go on the road in the postseason, you're trying to just find ways to get through a game, and the Thunder really leaned into their defensive identity throughout this one. But for the Thunder at home, you hope that maybe some of that flow and some of that confidence. Dub was kind of talking about the weight of possession sometimes, where sometimes it might feel like you're overthinking things. At home, you hope that maybe some of that stuff kind of goes away a little bit. But I know one thing's for sure. Loud City is going to be loud for that Game 5.
I can only imagine how much Loud City is excited to have their Thunder team back inside of their building. All right, that wraps us up here inside of American Airlines Center. We will see you back in Oklahoma City. Once again, our final score, 196 for Royce Young. I'm Paris Lawson. Our next post-game show comes your way Wednesday from Paycom Center after Game 5 between the Thunder and the Mavs. Until then, we say goodnight from downtown Dallas, and we'll see you on Wednesday.